Hello again, it's Professor McCartan on another topic, creating and delivering a sales presentation. So I want you to think about the fact that, congratulations, you've gotten that next potential client to agree to meet with you. Now what? So let's go ahead and look over what you need to do to be successful. Making a meeting successful is really important. You've hung up the phone and you are ready to go. So what are you going to do next? Well, let's look at a couple different things. If your prospect has agreed to maybe meet with you, let's say for 30 minutes, explain to them how your product will fit with them potentially. So what do you do? What do you say? What kind of details are you going to give? So when you end each sales call, it may be different, it may be unique, and the flow is always different. If you sell, I don't know, art, or maybe if you sell insurance and or science or technology, these all have different types of stance and or information that you have to give. So you need to be an expert of whatever you are selling and really put a lot of rigorous time in before that phone call and then into that meeting that you're going to meet with them in person to make it successful. So let's look at it. How do we prepare for a meeting? Well, one way that you will prepare for a meeting is research the company. You want to make sure before that pre-appointment, before that approach, that you know everything and anything you can do for that company. Know what the company does, what the company's mission is, and a little bit of background on the company. Then you also want to research the person you're meeting with. LinkedIn is a great way to do this. You can go on and see who that contact person is, where did they go to school, where have they worked, who do they know, do you guys have common connections or common threads, do you share any common interest and things like that. So it gives you the opportunity to have some discussion points and be able to ease into the conversation with the individual when you meet them. Develop an outline. Sometimes salespeople think that they can be very nimble on their feet and able to wing a presentation by simply responding to the client's clues. I will tell you, no, that's not a good option. Don't be this person. Develop some form of outline, if not a presentation with visual aids, so you can keep your objectives in mind and you don't stray from the track that you are on. It's really important to make sure that you have that outline before you go into it. Know your outline really well, as well as if you need anything, like I said, to keep you on that aspect of on that straight line. Develop pain questions. And what I mean by this is make a list of questions to ask potential clients to help them with determining what their pain is, what their problem is. Because as professional sales individuals, we are really there to solve their problems. If you can't solve their problem, then you have no meaning or valid time for them. They don't want to spend time with someone that isn't going to offer them a solution. So that's what you have to think about is, okay, what can I ask them to get the information I need to help them with what I can offer? Then you've done all your research and you're starting that meeting, and then you have to deliver your pitch. So when you start the meeting, you're here, the big day has arrived, right? Make sure that you arrive early. 10 minutes early is normally the good rule of thumb. You don't want to be a half an hour early. If you're half an hour early, sit in your car. 10 minutes early is the best rule of thumb there. If you're escorted into the conference, maybe the CEO is waiting or something like that, make sure that you walk right in, thank the person that escorted you, and then exchange a greeting. Now, doesn't that kind of sound scary? Maybe a little bit. So don't skip that warm-up. It never hurts to build that little rapport from the beginning. You've researched the person on LinkedIn, so you can start a conversation with something other than your actual presentation that you have for them. Don't overdo. You're not there. You're not on a mission to make this amazing dynamic sales presentation. You're there to navigate through the system and through the process. Now, after you have gotten to your warm-up, you're going to recap how you arrived at this point, providing a brief summary of why you got in touch with them and a good way to lead into those pain questions. So you're checking out what their pain is. And remember, just like a doctor, you don't walk into a doctor's office and they go, okay, this is what you need, here's your prescription. They have to ask you your symptoms, and you have to what? And what does the doctor do? They listen to you, and then they come up with a thought process. So you have to do the same thing. You have to listen and kind of analyze everything that they're telling you. Listen more, talk less. As you can see, I point that out. Ask your questions and really listen to those answers. I can't say that 100 times. You need to listen to what they are saying. Don't be thinking about your next question, but rather listen to the details they are giving you. What they say contains keys to how they will in fact do a transaction with you, or what will hinder them doing some form of transaction with you. You can also make notes, so don't feel, as in you're being rude. You're welcome to jot down notes where it's appropriate, where you can incorporate answers maybe into your presentation and whatnot. Now, when you're delivering the pitch, this is your stage. This is the time that has come that you can say, here you go. This is what I have to offer. So, my couple things that I have you look at is make sure that you're relevant. Make sure you highlight the benefits, not the features, that your product or service delivers. Relate to the client's pain. Make sure that you are hitting those pain points. Don't talk specifications. Rather talk about what having those specifications will do for that client. Having let's say a V8 engine is a feature, but what a V8 engine will do will allow you to what? Tow a vehicle behind you, or tow some kind of trailer or something like that, right? Exactly. Be animated. When you are enthusiastic, you convey a belief in your product and also you as well. Not to mention you're not boring, and that's, a couple pluses right there. A little showmanship never hurts. Get to the point. Avoid fluff. Build your case effectively with the least words possible. Your prospect time is very valuable. Be respectful and don't drone on and just hear yourself talk, because nobody likes to just hear somebody talk. Don't read the slides to them at all. If you're using a PowerPoint or some form of visual aid in your pitch, it should be a crutch. Matter of fact, you should be able to do the entire presentation even if the slide work doesn't work. If your technology doesn't work, they don't have a way that you can present that slideshow, you need to be able to know your material that well that you don't need that slideshow. And end with that defining next step. You may not always get to an order that day, but before you leave, you need to know how the decision makers are, their processes for making the decision, where the money is going to come from, and what they like and they don't like about your product. If possible, you should set a date and time for that next meeting while you're still there. You drive back to your office. When you get there, you send a thank you email or a handwritten note. That is still done, by the way, and recap the meeting, attach any info that you promise, and make sure you reiterate and redirect to those next steps, okay? So let me tell you what, when it comes to presentations, it's not an easy task. The more you do them, the better you get. Preparing for a sales presentation requires research about the company and the person you are meeting. You also need to develop that outline, don't forget, and questions that will help you reveal those buying motives, the customer's pain. Arrive early and begin the meeting with rapport building. Before you state your pitch, ask probing questions and make notes of their answers so you can use them later. When you are presenting, stay on point and be animated, be excited, be enthusiastic. And at the end of the presentation, make sure you have those next steps. Make sure they're defined there, even if it isn't a close of a deal. Until next time, this is Professor McCartan. Take care.